She tried to force me into her HOA until I bought the land under her house. Before we dive in, imagine this. You buy a quiet lakeside property to relax, only for a self-proclaimed HOA queen to show up at your door demanding monthly fees for a lake she doesn't even own. When you refuse, she calls the cops to have you arrested. But little does she know, you own the land under her entire neighborhood. What happens next? Absolute poetic justice. Make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications because this story is going to make every HOA bully think twice before knocking on someone's door. Marcus Johnson, a calm and successful black property investor in his late 40s, had one dream: peace. After years of running a construction business in the city, he finally purchased a serene piece of land by Crystal Lake, a gorgeous spot surrounded by pine trees and quiet mornings. He envisioned fishing at dawn, reading on the porch by noon, and maybe renting a few cabins for extra income. The property wasn't part of any neighborhood association. It was private, isolated, and all his. But peace never lasts long when there's a Karen nearby. Just 3 days after Marcus moved in, a white SUV rolled up his driveway. Out stepped a blonde woman in her 50s, wearing oversized sunglasses, a clipboard, and that unmistakable air of entitlement. "Hi there," she chirped. "I'm Susan, president of the Lakeside HOA. You must be the new resident on the South Shore. Welcome. We just need you to sign some paperwork and pay your first HOA dues. It's $175 a month, lake maintenance, community security, the usual." Marcus smiled politely. "Oh, I think you're mistaken. This property isn't part of your HOA. I checked the deed myself." Karen's smile faltered. "Oh no, everyone around the lake contributes. It's community policy." "Not according to county records," Marcus replied calmly. Her tone sharpened. "Well, if you want to use the lake, you'll need to be a member. Otherwise, you're trespassing." Marcus chuckled lightly. "Ma'am, this lake literally touches my backyard." She gave him a cold glare, muttered something about troublemakers, and marched off. Marcus thought that was the end of it. He couldn't have been more wrong. Over the next few weeks, things escalated. One morning, Marcus woke up to find a notice of violation pinned to his gate, unsigned, unofficial, but stamped with the HOA logo. It claimed his dock was unapproved construction and violated lake uniformity standards. Then came the nasty notes left on his car. "Join the HOA or leave. This community has rules." He even caught someone taking photos of his house at night. When he confronted them, the man said, "Susan told me to document non-compliance." Marcus kept his cool. He'd dealt with plenty of stubborn people in business. But this was personal harassment. One afternoon, while Marcus was cleaning his fishing gear, he saw flashing lights coming down his driveway. A police cruiser stopped and 2 officers stepped out. "Sir," one said, "we got a call from the Lakeside HOA. They claim you're refusing to comply with community regulations and illegally using the lake." Marcus raised an eyebrow. "Do you have a report or any legal document linking my land to their HOA?" The officers looked at each other. "Not exactly. We were told it's community-managed property." Marcus calmly walked inside and returned with a thick folder. "Here's my deed, the plat map, and the county zoning record. This lakefront, including 30 feet of shoreline, is mine. The HOA has 0 jurisdiction here." The officers examined the papers. "Looks solid to us." Just then, Karen, Susan, came storming down the road yelling, "Officers! Arrest him! He's trespassing and being aggressive!" Marcus smirked. "Aggressive? I've been standing here holding fishing gear." The officers sighed. "Ma'am, his paperwork checks out. You can't enforce HOA rules on private property outside your boundary." Her face turned red. "This isn't over," she snapped before driving away in fury. Marcus exhaled, but deep down, he knew this wasn't finished. A few days later, Marcus received a letter from the county clerk's office. It was a notification regarding tax default, not for him, but for a large plot of land adjacent to his property, including several streets, the clubhouse, and, ironically, the HOA's own lake access road. Curious, he drove to the county records department. The clerk explained, "Yes, that section has been delinquent for years. The previous developer went bankrupt, and the HOA never took official title. It's heading to auction next month." Marcus blinked. "Wait, so no one actually owns that land?" The clerk nodded. "Technically, whoever wins the bid becomes the landowner, and the HOA will have to pay them rent for access." A slow grin spread across Marcus's face. He'd found his golden ticket. When the auction date arrived, the HOA board members didn't even show up, probably thinking it didn't concern them. Marcus quietly purchased the parcel under his company's name for a fraction of its value. That night, he stood on his porch overlooking the lake, watching the moon shimmer across the water. He thought about every insult, every threat, every fake citation Susan had thrown his way. And now, she lived on his land. 2 weeks later, Marcus mailed official notices to every homeowner in the Lakeside HOA. Notice of ownership transfer. As of this date, all access roads, lake entrances, and common areas fall under the management of Johnson Holdings, LLC. Continued use requires a standard easement agreement. The HOA members panicked. Their group chat exploded with messages like, "Is this a scam? Who's Johnson Holdings? Susan, what did you do?" And then came the day of reckoning. Marcus called a community meeting at the clubhouse. When he walked in, everyone fell silent. Susan was there, arms crossed, eyes blazing. "What is the meaning of this?" she snapped. "You think you can take over our neighborhood?" Marcus smiled politely and opened a folder. "Actually, I can. You see, when your developer went bankrupt, the land under your roads and lake access reverted to the county. I bought it at public auction. I now own everything your HOA operates on." Gasps echoed across the room. Susan's face turned pale. That's impossible," Marcus continued. "It's not. And since your HOA never had legal ownership, your members now need permission from me to continue using these areas." The room erupted. Homeowners turned on Susan, yelling, "You said you handled this. We've been paying dues for nothing." Marcus let the chaos settle before adding, "Don't worry. I'm not here to destroy anyone's home, but if you want continued access, we'll sign proper agreements and dissolve this fake HOA." Susan's voice shook. "You can't just end the HOA?" "Oh, I can," Marcus replied, "because technically you've been operating illegally on my land." The silence that followed was priceless. Within a month, the Lakeside HOA dissolved. Marcus restructured the area into a private lake community managed by his company. Residents now paid a modest fee directly to him, one that actually went toward real maintenance and cleanup. Many of them apologized to Marcus for how Susan had treated him. They were tired of her control, her fines, and her threats. As for Susan, she packed up and left, selling her house at a loss. Rumor had it she tried to start another HOA in a nearby town, but no one wanted to join. One morning, as Marcus sat on his dock sipping coffee, one of the former HOA members came by. "Mr. Johnson," the man said sheepishly, "I just wanted to say thank you for standing up to her." "We didn't know how bad it had gotten," Marcus smiled. "Sometimes peace has a price, but in this case it was worth every penny." The man laughed. "Guess it's true what they say. Never mess with the landlord." Marcus grinned, glancing at the calm lake water. "Especially when the landlord owns the lake." He cast his fishing line into the water, feeling the quiet breeze return, the peace he'd dreamed of finally restored. Arrogance and entitlement often drown in the waters of truth. Before you try to control someone, make sure you're standing on solid ground, because you never know who actually owns the land beneath your feet.